Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq greets the President of France on his country's National Day. At least 71 people are killed in Israeli airstrikes on Gaza as the UN Secretary General calls on international community to strengthen support for UNRWA. And Muscat Stock Exchange lists new bonds in Sukuk in the first half of this year. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency Emmanuel Macron, President of France, on his country's National Day. An Israeli airstrike killed at least 71 Palestinians and injured 289 others, the deadliest death toll in weeks in a designated humanitarian zone in Gaza today, the Enclave Health Ministry said. Many of those wounded in the strike were taken to the nearby Nasser hospital, which hospital officials said had been overwhelmed and was no longer able to function due to the intensity of the Israeli offensive and an acute shortage of medical supplies. Separately, at least 10 Palestinians were killed in an Israeli attack on a prayer hall at a Gaza camp for displaced people west of Gaza City, Palestinian health officials said. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres pledged to international community for strengthened support and more funding for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees in the Near East for its indispensable role in the Gaza Strip. Guterres made the remark at a UNRWA pledging conference held at the UN headquarters in New York City. The conference was scheduled in light of UNRWA's severe financial crisis. The agency announced early on Wednesday that its funds for sustaining vital operations will only last until the end of August. The International Court of Justice will deliver its opinion on the legal consequences of Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories on July 19th. A record 52 countries presented arguments at what is also known as the World Court about the legal ramifications of Israel's actions in the territories in February after the UN General Assembly asked the ICJ in 2022 for an advisory non-binding opinion. While Israel has ignored such opinions in the past, the ICJ ruling next week could add political pressure over its devastating 9-month-old war. 22 people were killed after a 2-story school building collapsed in central Nigeria's Plateau State. A total of 154 people were trapped under the debris, and everyone apart from those who died was rescued and is being treated for injuries in various hospitals. 30 people are still in hospital, and rescue efforts had ended and the site cleared, Nigeria's National Emergency Management Agency said. Still to come in our news bulletin. With participation from 19 Arab countries, including the Sultanate of Oman, the 44th International Flower Exhibition in Damascus attracts visitors to its wide selections of herbal-based products and nursery plants. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Muscat Stock Exchange listed new bonds in Sukuk in the first half of this year through the Central Bank of Oman, local banks, and several publicity-listed companies. More details in the following report.
With a value exceeding 362 million Omani Riyals, the Muscat Stock Exchange listed new bonds and sukuk in the first half of this year. Those were issued by the Central Bank of Oman, local banks and several publicly listed companies on the stock exchange, with the aim of stimulating trade activity by diversifying investment instruments. Among the most notable issuance in the bonds and sukuk market were the 69th and the 70th issuance of the government development bonds, with a volume of 100 million Omani Riyals and 125 million Omani Riyals respectively. Additionally, mandatory convertible bonds into common shares were listed, issued by Ominvest, with a volume exceeding 13 million Omani Riyals. Ahli Bank also issued bonds with a volume exceeding 10 million Omani Riyals, and the National Finance Company issued bonds worth 35 million Omani Riyals. During the first half of this year, the Dhafar Insurance Company restructured its bonds, reducing their volume from 20 million bonds to 10 million, with a nominal value of 100 basis per bond. In the sukuk sector, Muscat Stock Exchange listed Tilal Sukuk with a volume of nearly 56 million Omani Riyals and the third issue of Mithaq Sukuk with a volume exceeding 16 million Omani Riyals. By the end of last June, the total market value of the bonds and sukuk market was 4,355 million Omani Riyals, which represents about 18% of the total market value of the securities listed on the Muscat Stock Exchange.
The total assets of Islamic banks and outlets at the end of last April reached around 7.5 billion Omani Riyals, recording an increase of 13.2%. Statistics issued by the Central Bank of Oman indicated that the total balance of financing granted by Sharia-compliant units increased by 12% to reach 6.3 billion Riyals. Deposits at Islamic banks and outlets also recorded an increase of 15.9% to reach about 5.8 billion Omani Riyals at the end of last April. The broad cash supply witnessed a growth of 12% on an annual basis, reaching about 23 million Omani Riyals by the end of last April. This increase came as a result of an increase in narrow cash supply by 7% and quasi-cash by 13.9%, which consists of the sum of saving deposits and time deposits in Omani Riyals, plus certificates of deposits issued by banks, in addition to security margin accounts, and all deposits in foreign currency in the banking sector. The Directorate General of Housing and Urban Planning in Governorate of Brahimi organized a sign language training program. The program targeted service providers in a number of institutions in the governorates of Brahimi, Zahira, and North Batina. The training program lasted 4 weeks, during which participants were exposed to the basics of sign language and how to deal with individuals with hearing challenges when they require government services. The training program seeks to equip the service providers with the right tools to serve different segments of the community, including people with physical challenges and impairments. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth held today the Let's Walk initiative at the Muscat Mall as part of the summer sports program in the Governorate of Muscat. More details in the following report.
As part of the summer's sports program in Muscat Governorate, the much-anticipated Let's Walk initiative took place at Muscat Mall. The event, organized by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth, aims to foster community spirit and encourage physical activity among various segments of society.
The aim is to encourage people to walk in such an indoor, cool place, because with this high temperature outside, it's very difficult for them to walk. So choosing a mall early in the morning, spacious and safe for them to walk. The target were from Oman associations, Oman Women Association centers in Muscat and disability centers. These people, the disabled people, are very difficult for them to walk outdoor. It's not safe. Indoor in malls, it's more safer for them. And the woman herself is the center of the family. So when a woman comes to walk, the whole family will come together.
More than 250 participants took part in the walk, engaging in physical activity at a convenient indoor atmosphere, away from the oppressive heat.
I'm very glad to join the sports day today here in Muscat Mall. I was very happy to see this participation from many people, from elderlies, children, also special needs. It was really a great pleasure for me to see such interest from the Omani society in sports and health.
It was my pleasure to participate in this event, and I really feel the difference between walking under the sun and under the AC in the mall. Participating today in Muscat Mall, it was really magnificent and good, especially during the summer season, which is very hot in Oman. So today I see a lot of people are participating because of that.
Beyond the immediate benefits of the event, the initiative seeks to instill the concept of physical exercise as a lifestyle. By creating partnerships with public and private sectors, the ministry hopes to promote walking as the simplest and most accessible form of exercise.
The initiative is more than just a walk. It's a stride towards a healthier and more inclusive community. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, this is Salih Al-Khalfan Al-Rahbi, Muscat.
Asyad Group aims to enhance the Sultanate of Oman's position as a vital global logistics hub, as its annual performance report indicates positive growth. More details in the following report.
The Asyad Group is steadily progressing towards achieving its strategic goals and enhancing Oman's position as a vital global logistics hub. The annual performance report revealed that the group's net profits last year were 64 million Omani riyals, with a year-on-year growth rate of 43% and revenue growth of 5%, reaching 465 million Omani riyals. Since the group's inception, the compound annual growth rate for profits has been 73%, while revenue growth has been 21%, with a total value of the group's assets reaching 1.6 billion Omani riyals. Asyad also achieved a new record last year by attracting over 1 billion Omani riyals in direct foreign investments into its economic and free zones. The annual report indicated that Asyad Dry Dock achieved a 4% growth in its business volume by exceeding 230 projects and providing services to commercial clients from over 40 countries worldwide. To strengthen its active role in linking the local market with the global one, the group activated freight forwarding services, resulting in over 2,000 shipments in its first operational year from various land, sea and airports. Additionally, storage activities increased by 32% and warehouse capacity by 16%. The group also launched partial shipping solutions, connecting Indian markets with the Omani market through its integrated assets, which will boost trade movement and empower local companies and SMEs. Meanwhile, Oman Post and Asyad Express add 6 new countries to the network for postal and express parcel delivery, now reaching 12 countries. Asyad Express's operations grew by 81%, and 9 international companies relocated the regional distribution operations to the Sultanate of Oman. In the small and medium ports sector, the volume of handled goods grew by 4%, with the reception of 134 cruise ships. Additionally, Asyad Group is focusing on developing its human resources and owning the skills of its employees, whose numbers exceeded 8,000, with the Omanization rate of 85%. The group has opened more than 400 job opportunities for young people and added 84 Omani sailors to the ranks of those working on its maritime fleet.
Under the theme Damask Rose, the 44th International Flower Exhibition started in the capital city of Damascus. The event attracted the participation from 19 Arab countries, including the Sultanate of Oman, and took place in one of the largest Damascus gardens, Tishreen Park, where flowers in a variety of unique flora were at display. Syrians flooded to the exhibition to attend the activities of the flower exhibition and buy a variety of products made out of flower, including perfume, rose water, and other herbal medicine. The exhibition attracted companies specialized in nursery plants and trees and other products for landscaping, gardening, and agriculture. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq greets the President of France on his country's National Day. At least 71 people are killed in Israeli airstrikes on Gaza as the UN Secretary General calls on international community to strengthen support for UNRWA. And Muscat Stock Exchange lists new bonds and sukuk in the first half of this year. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's a good night, and we hope you've enjoyed your weekend.